spent 15 years building a specific domain has enormous value, but only if the market can have access to it. It's invisible. So companies restructure, industries consolidate, roles get eliminated. So the question is not whether it will happen near you, it's whether you'll be built. Podcast leads to authority, authority leads to advisory, advisory leads to digital offers. Digital offers create leverage. Leverage creates optionality. Each stage compounds the one before. You don't have to have all five at the same time, but you have to start. This is the timeline you need. Everything you know, every framework you've built, every problem you've solved, every insight that took years to earn is currently locked in a job title. The moment that changes, most of the value becomes invisible to the market, not because it disappeared, because you never built a piece or a place for a market to find it. So today we talk about the packaging problem, and more importantly, why the window to solve it is shorter than most people realize. Now we're going to talk about the first phase of this is the shelf life problem. Expertise tied exclusively to a job title does not have market value. It has organizational value. Those are different things. Organizational value disappears when the organization changes. The senior leader who spent 15 years building a specific domain has enormous value, but only if the market can have access to it, right? So if it exists in performance reviews, internal presentations, it's invisible. So companies restructure, industries consolidate, roles get eliminated. This is not being pessimistic, it's the truth, just based on history. So the question is not whether it will happen near you, it's whether you have built an external asset before it does.
I want to take a pause for a second and talk about your confidence, right? You got the experience, the results, the credibility, but when it comes to putting your voice out there, fear creeps in. Who am I to do this? Does that sound familiar? That's imposter syndrome, and it's keeping you small. My coaching is about breaking through that, helping you turn your expertise into content, conversation, and coaching that builds real influence in your industry. So if you're done hiding behind titles and ready to lead with your story, head over to connectingwithcreatives.com/coaching and let's get started. I'll see you soon.
Here's the distinction I want to carry with you. These are two kinds of professional assets. Organizational assets are your title, your budget, authority, your internal network that you can have access to. So these are real valuable, but they're not portable. And when there are market assets, your published thinking, your external network, positioning on a specific domain, your reputation outside the building, market assets compound. Organizational assets depreciate the moment your role changes. Most executives spend their career building only the first kind. So I'm going to give you ways to package what you know. So listen up. The first packaging approach is consulting framework. Identify the specific problem you solve better than anyone else, not your job description, the actual transformation you create for it in an organization. Package that expertise in a named methodology, a named framework or approach. Give it a language. How I help mid-size organizations restructure their ops function without losing institutional knowledge is in a consulting offer. I have 15 years of operation experience as a resume line. The name framework is the difference between a generalist who competes on hourly rates and a specialist who sets their own. The second packaging approach is advisory position. An advisory role is not a consulting project. It's ongoing access to your thinking, typically for equity, retainer, or both. So you need to be findable for an advisory role, right? So the people that make those decisions are looking online. You need to have a clear way of thinking on a specific domain. So the podcast creates both. Each episode you build a searchable, shareable body of work that positions you for advisory conversations. Most of your peers don't even know how to start. The third packaging is digital offers. Your expertise can be packaged into a course, a cohort, a workshop, a premium community, sold directly to people facing the problem you spent years solving. This is not passive income, right? It's not a fantasy. It's a systematic approach and that you could deliver this, right? So One-on-one versus one-to-many. It's a game changer. That's how you scale, one to many. They're already consuming your thinking. They trust you on your podcast. The conversion from listener to buyer is a shorter path in a digital business. The podcasting is a tool. It's not content creation. It's thinking findable. Every episode is a packaging event. When you record a solo episode like this, you're converting your listeners into clients. It's your IP. Regardless of what happens to your life, when you bring a guest onto your show, you're building a relationship with someone in your target market while still creating a piece of content that signals your authority to everyone who's listening. So just think about this: 52 episodes a year, which means you have 52 packaging events. Each one extends your shelf life. Each one expands the market ability to find you. Each one is working without your active involvement. Here's the full system I call the mic check method. Mic check. Let's go. Podcast leads to authority. Authority leads to advisory. Advisory leads to digital offers. Digital offers create leverage. Leverage creates optionality. Each stage compounds the one before. You don't have to have all five at the same time. You just have to start with the first one. But you have to start. This is the timeline you need. Okay, think about this. Let me give you a game. Picture this. In the next 12 months, you can do this. So month 1 and 2, your positioning is locked. Your podcast infrastructure is built. First 6 episodes live. The market asset exists. Month 3 and 4, guest network engaged. Domain authority growing. LinkedIn presence is aligned with your podcast positioning. Month 5 and 6, first inbound, right? Consulting, speaking, advisory. This is the inflection point. It's not guaranteed at month 5, but it rarely comes before leaders who commit to the system. Month 7 through 12. This is the pipeline. It starts to build up. Your title is working for you. You can leverage it, but you're no longer dependent on it. The first time to start building was the first time you had a title worth leveraging. Amen. The second best time is right now, not next quarter, not next reorg, not when things settle down. Now, because things do not settle down and the window does not stay open. Preparation times, discipline equals compound interest. The compound clock starts now. You start now. So your expertise is real. The market is real. The window to package it while you still have your title is working for you is real, and it's finite. You don't need more credentials. You don't need more years of experience. You don't need a platform. You need a platform, a positioning strategy, and a system that compounds while you do everything else you're already doing. This is exactly what a discovery call with me is designed to map out. Link is in the show notes. I'll see you there. Come on.